Just because most of the subreddits have came back online or will be back online does not mean that this situation is over with. At the height of this, over 3,000 subreddits went dark protesting a lot of the changes that the CEO wanted to make. As of today, or as of tonight, around 300 of those subreddits will probably remain dark for an infinite amount of time. And also today, the CEO basically came up with a letter, and this pretty much sums up the letter about the protests.
Fuck off.
Yes, the CEO is standing strong. He is not going to hold, he's going to hold the line. So we're going to see how these subreddits are going to be able to hold the line. Are they going to be able to remain on their protesting? But before we jump into the details of this, if you are new to this channel, please do me a huge favor and consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and hit that like button if you are liking this video. All right, let's dive into this. Here's an article out of Android Authority. Here are some of the major subreddits that will stay down indefinitely. Yeah, like I was saying, there's about 300 or so, but we'll get into that. Later today, the site-wide Reddit protest will officially come to a close. The 48-hour event saw over 7,000 Reddits shut down in an attempt to send a message to Reddit executives about their controversial decisions to change the way third-party apps can access Reddit's API. By tomorrow morning, a good chunk of those phones will be back to running as usual. However, a subset of those forums will not reopen. As of this writing, over 300 subreddits are staying dark indefinitely. That number is going up every minute. These subs will continue to protest the changes until Reddit CEO Steve Huffman agrees to meet their demands. And they have outlined some of their demands. I believe this article does. Yes, it does later on down talk about some of their demands, so we'll get to that. Some of these committed subreddits are massive. First, there's the All Reddit subreddit, which has 34.1 million subscribers. Our music is sticking out to their fight with 32 million, and our videos or subreddit videos with 26.6 million followers. Here's a list of some of the ones that are going to stay dark. You have some Futurology, you have Apple, iPhone, Apple Watch, phone apps, Google Maps, some car stuff, some other ones like obviously Android home screen, Pokemon, tech news. So this is just some of the list. But you said you have some that are huge with over 34 million. So right now, still, there will be hundreds of millions of people that will be affected by this protest right now. And we're going to see how long that they can stick it out, how long they're willing to, keep their subreddits dark, considering how their pocketbooks will be impacted. So we will see. Android Authority has reached out to the moderator of our Android on news that if that subreddit will go open or remain dark. Unfortunately, the moderator could not give us a statement at that time. We will update this article with when we hear a formal statement from the team. What do the subreddits staying dark want? Okay, in the post where subreddits are affirming their intention to stay closed, the moderators have explicitly laid out what they want. Essentially, there are three main demands. First one, toning down or fully removing most of the planned API changes and giving developers more time to adapt to their changes. So apparently, I think they only have about 60 days, or when they first were given a notice, they had around 60 days of when this API changes were going to take effect. So basically, they're just asking for a little bit more time to adopt, because some of these changes will have a huge financial impact. So they need to figure out a way how they can ramp it up or figure out how they can maintain, or will they be able to afford some of these changes based on the changes or the charges that will be happening for that API access. So I think this is a reasonable demand, but you got to look at it on both sides. They want to implement these changes right fast and in a hurry, but the subredditors are saying, look, we need time for these changes to implement. So we need time to adapt. The second point, keep accessibility at the forefront, especially for Redditors who are blind. Okay, if Reddit is making any changes that will impact accessibility in terms of people being able to use the site that have handicaps, or in this case, people that are blind, then that's a knock against Reddit. I don't know how or why they would do something like that. Their main focus should be to make sure that their site still remains accessible. So we'll see what those changes are. Making sure NSW content is accessible to third-party apps as is the official apps. Come on now, that goes unsaid. We need that NSFW stuff. Come on now. We can't go a day without looking at those pictures or whatever. Especially protesting subreddits want the site to keep things mostly the way they have been. Of course, no, they don't want anything to change, but you gotta look at it also from the side of the company. They need to make changes or implement new things to probably improve their bottom line or changes that they think that's going to make the site better. Notably, some detractors have tried to say that protesting subreddits want API access to remain completely free. However, these demands fully concede that Reddit can charge third-party apps for access to its data. I'm going to get into that in just a little bit, particularly how one company may be put out of business because of this. What the protesters want is that charge to be far more realistic than what it will mean, and if Reddit follows through and on its current plans. Notably, Reddit CEO Steve Huffman today sent out an internal memo that subsequently leaked. In the memo, Huffman showed no signs of backing down, claiming the protest will pass. It appears protesters will stick to this and stay out for the long haul. Now, here's a memo that the CEO sent out. Hi, snooze. I guess that's what he calls the people who work at Reddit. Starting last night, 1,000 subreddits have gone private. We do anticipate many of them will come back by Wednesday, as many have said as much. While we knew this was coming, it is a challenge nevertheless, and we have our work cut out for us. A number of snooze have been working around the clock, adapting to infrastructure change, engaging with communities, and responding to the myriad of issues related to the blackout. Thank you, team. We have not seen any significant revenue impact so far, and will continue to monitor. It is interesting. I do want to know if they will have a significant impact the longer this goes. They have to have some type of impact. I mean, I can't see them not having some type of revenue impact from this. There's a lot of noise with this one. Among the noises we've seen, please know that our teams are on it. And like all blowups on Reddit, this will pass as well. So he's pretty much just blowing it off. The most important things we can do right now are stay focused, adapt to changes, and keep moving forward. We absolutely must ship what we must. We ship what we said we would. So they're like, we gotta go. The only long-term solution is improving our product, and in the short term, we have a few upcoming critical mod tool launches we need to nail. While the two biggest third-party apps, Apollo and RIF, along with a couple others, have said they plan to shut down at the end of the month, we are still in conversation with some of the others. As I mentioned in my post last week, we will exempt accessibility-focused apps so far as they have agreements with Red Reader and Dystopia. I'm sorry to say this, but please be mindful of wearing Reddit gear in public. Yeah, I doubt you don't want to go out with any Reddit t-shirts or anything right now. No. Some folks are really upset, and we don't want you to be the object of their frustration. Again, we'll get through this. Thank you all of you for helping us do so. So that was a letter. Pretty much he just said, screw you guys. We're going to move forward and be damned. We're going to go for it. So let's talk about Apollo a little bit. So Apollo is one of those apps that are very, very popular, as they mentioned in the letter here. So they also have an app that's very popular. The app has about 50,000. So I'm going to talk about how this API change will pretty much put them out of business. They have about 50,000 users who pay about $10 a month or $10 a year. So you do the math, that's about $500,000 a year that the revenue for Apollo is making based off people that are paying. Now, based on the API changes that Reddit is talking about, Apollo will pay 24 cents for every 1,000 requests to its API, which would cost $20 million a year based on the app's current usage. Now, I'm no math major, but 20 million is greater than 500,000, so there's no way the app can function if they have to pay that amount of money. You will send them out of business, essentially. I mean, no, you will shut them down. They won't be able to operate. So I can understand why some of the developers are upset about this. That cost per request is pretty high, as you can see. $20 million to have access to an app when your app is only generating about 500,000. That's a hefty amount that Reddit is charging. Now, I don't know how much they are paying per request or received requests on the Reddit side. I don't know if it justifies 24 cents per call, but again, So some of the developers are crying about blackmail or whatever, or extortion, pretty much, with that amount of cost. So yeah, this is yeah, again, a lot of them will come back online, but there's going to be some people that will not come back online, some subreddits that will say, oh, so I think this fight is still going to happen for a long time. I don't have a time frame as to when or how long I think it will happen, but I wonder how long some of these subreddits will be able to hold out, if they can hold the line, if they can stick it to Reddit. You know, basically it's going to figure out whose pocket is going to be affected the most. You know, if Reddit starts to lose millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, even billions of dollars, then the CEO may cave. But if some of these subreddits are forced to shut down, they're going to go out of business, they're going to drop off, then they may have to make some concessions to try to get back online and try to recoup some of the visitors or the eyeballs they have, or some of the revenue that they may be receiving from, you know, operating their subreddit. So it's an interesting situation. So we will see how this plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Who is going to cave in first? Is it the CEO, even though he said, damn, y'all, we going forward? Or will the subredditors have to cave in at this point? Just let me know down in the comment section. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say about that. Thank you for taking time out to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Hit that like button as well, because obviously I know you like this video if you're still around at this point. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the latest tech news, head over to the website at soundsnerdy.com, where I curate tech news covering Apple, Samsung, Android, computing, and even more general tech news, all conveniently aggregated at the website soundsnerdy.com. And until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.